Hello, welcome to this session that I was going to give you about the IoT third-party API. First steps into the development of a server. So actually, what you can see already, it's on our website, there is a dedicated section about to bring you to actually the a repository where we have deployed some guidelines that you can follow. So actually, you just have to follow the credential are set it up here. Okay. So in this case, we just have to open those. Wait, of course, I mean, I have also my credentials, so that I will give you yours. So KNX IoT doc. In this case, you will see a project inside, and the project actually does not contain any code, but it contains a wiki space that will bring you step by step to the introduction of and how to set up actually your local server. So we can simply surf the skeleton of the presentation pages here. Actually, important feature, or what are we going to do today, is set up a local environment based on our server. So actually, I already prepared a Linux distribution running on a Zotac server. You can choose any embedded you like. We also have a special spin-off for the Raspberry Pi alike platforms, but actually for the time being, I mean, I have another machine. You can also create a virtual machine out of that, so no need of an embedded device. So the initial requirement actually is you need to have a Linux installed, okay? So then you can get the setup file, which is actually based on Docker, and the client collection to play with as soon as the installation has been successfully committed. So to actually start, you just have to follow the guideline step by step. So there is actually the step 0 that is not reported here. It's like choose your embedded and install Linux on that. But we are going to install directly the Docker Composer and other tooling around that are necessary too. So actually, this is my running machine. I'm already in, and I'm connected to the internet. So, okay, yes, I'm connected to the internet. Thank you, guys. Then at this moment, what I will do is just turning up myself a throat. I hope the password is okay. So apt get install docker.io. So, which is actually, yes, please, which is actually the very first point, number one, which is ensure Docker is running. If not, then we are going to do actually what I did command so far. So while this is running out, okay, we need a second tooling component, which is actually the Docker Compose. I'm preparing myself to, well, move material to the actual machine. I need to change the IP address because here the network is different, but okay, same password, IoT POC, super secret password, you know. So go to the temporary. I'm going here on the place where I download my Docker Compose file. So Docker Compose file. Okay, I already had it. Super. Nice. So let's see. Okay, done. So Docker Compose, which is actually the step number 2. Wait, yeah. Wait a second. So, never happened to me before, no problem. Okay, good that we have, the direct thing, so voila, might be close by that. So let's do actually one thing before rebooting. So exit. I will create a space. Oh, sorry, make the project a space where to normally find it out. Voila. I'm going to move the Docker Compose suite from the temporary. I don't know if I can unzip like that directly. So now wait. Okay, that creates actually the setup then. So we have it. Wait, I will just reboot my running machine. It's always a good thing to do. So do 56. Let's see that when she will come back online. So actually the suite is already installed there. What we do need actually is the runner, this Docker system running. So wait a second. Okay, we still have to do one last command, which is actually avoiding to the necessity to run Docker as a root on your machine, which is not a mandatory thing, but it's not elegant for me, so it's my choice. We start here, start the session. Okay, then recap apt-get install Docker Compose. Okay, perfect. It's coming. Then I will simply do copy and paste of the last one. So user mode -ag. It will take a bit of time, of course. Probably on your laptop is faster then, but when you play with embedded, it's like that. So typical user mode. And then it was Docker. And my user is IoT POC. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Docker, not capital. Yeah, this dollar your username variable actually is my username here. So I can abandon the root session. I will come back to the normal one. So let me go where we have downloaded actually that. So actually the only thing we have to do is let the system pull everything online alone. But before to start, two important things. So first of all, you have to manipulate a bit this docker compose.yaml file, because it came, of course, virgin, so it doesn't know where it has to be installed. For making it easy for the time being, I will simply do the following live with you. The first settings you have to do is to set up the public IP that your machine will have. So I will simply put my local machine address for the time being, which is 222.186. And then the second thing that you can take into account is, for easiness or for lower down the entry level, start with the security enable false, because it will be far easy to start up. And actually, another thing that I'm going to do, I don't have any IP router to actually connect my my installation, so my proof of concept to a real installation via the Falcon library that KNX Association have. So I removed such an IP parameter because otherwise it will simply not work. So guess we are ready. There is still one trick. It's also within the documentation. So the moment you run the Docker Compose, actually, you have to be sure. So the Docker Compose will do everything for you. It will pull from our repo the latest image of, so it will be perfectly automatically done. But it's still, there is something that needs to be protected by a password. So some of the images are simply free, publicly available there, while there is one, the Type 3 API, which is not available. So my tip is that you can do Docker in, username, KNX IoT class group, the password. Watch out, you copy, no spaces extra, nothing else. And then doing copy and paste does not type anything typical Linux style. In fact, permission denied. Probably I type it in properly. So let me copy even this one. Copy. Password. Yeah, voila. Ah, wait, that's a different thing. So probably Docker is not running. I installed it. Service Docker status. Well, good to be live. No, it is running. So yeah, it's still the var file is still only of root, so that shouldn't have been my problem. But anyway, we can circumvent it easily by doing sudo chmod 666 var run docker pid.sock. Okay. Well, let's retry. Home IoT Park project third party Docker Compose. Username. Okay. Far better. And then let's proceed with the Docker Compose up command. Simple as that. This will automatically fetch from our repo the state-of-the-art as is described in the YAML file, okay? Set up everything for us and launch the demo, which will be running on our embedded device. So actually, it seems difficult, but I mean, you already reached the point where you can actually play with any potential client when this is, of course, up and running. So it's a bit verbose, so it's really difficult to read what's going on. But in general, you don't have to take care too much. You just have to wait a bit. Experience talking. You can have some just a bit of troubleshooting. You know, you can have some some other running services that is already occupying ports that we need in our proof of concept setup, this is not really an issue the moment you have disclosed them. So actually, you can easily do a self debug to prepare it actually and make it running in the end. So well, let's give it a bit more moment. It will take a bit of time, but in the end, I'm just telling you what will be next the moment this is up and running. So as I have shown you, you can download the client Postman collection. Let's have just a brief look about. So it will be Postman can be fetched for free over the internet. So there are, yeah, don't save change, no problem. Locations. So I'm just closing everything. So actually, it has been composed by several subsections. Of course, the setup that you have to do, or be aware that you have to, in the variable section, you have to point to your machine on those three generic variables. So we just change and point to, that's from a previous demo, of course. So let's save it. And the moment we have saved it, it's still downloading and running. So the moment you have saved it, actually, you can try your very first third-party client call, but by requesting the node information, which is actually quite simple. You select and then you run the send command, and the server, the POC server, will answer you who I am, what I'm doing on this planet, etc., etc., etc. So based on that, then you can, extend your knowledge. Actually, to get another overview of what are the possibilities, which is not only Postman, we have a page which is published under schema.knx.org, where there are other information like the ontology and some other things. So you can see the Swagger, which was the page that I already have loaded beforehand. No? So by clicking this Open API view. So actually, the Postman collection simply shows you what you do have here as well. So well, everything is loading again. So probably because I'm doing too much at the same time. Good. Okay. Thank you, page. So actually the LDID, or the well-known. So you can see that there are correspondences. So well-known KNX. Well-known KNX. So how to retrieve data point information, how to retrieve device information, function information, location information, and even go and play with the WebSocket extension that we do have. So actually, that's it. Well, let's see what is the status here. It's quite cumbersome, so yeah, it takes time, but okay, still it's there. So still pinging now, so we don't need it anymore. Fine. So let's give a chance at least to do a call together today, because actually that's the last part you have to care about, because when this is done, actually we have went through quickly over all those points, and we are in the stage where you can do the very first call for real. So still pull extracting. So wait one more second. So let's see. Actually, I told you about the security flag to be disabled. So what is the difference? So the moment you have security enabled, you cannot even do the very first call, because of course you have to authenticate first. So in Postman, there is, for your conveniency, the authentication flow already split in chunks. So and this is also re-explained by me very well here. So you just have to follow the step-by-step procedure. It's not really a problem. Well, still processing, but coming up. So if you enable then the security, you will go to the OAuth authentication flow, which is fine. Otherwise, it's sorry. With the security enable false, you don't actually need it. So something went wrong, but it was rebuilt. That's why. Okay. So of course, the request of the show up today was to do it live, but of course those latency they depends on the network, not on me, unfortunately. So what else I can tell you, just to be interesting, of course, we are maintaining it constantly. So we already have found some small glitches. So actually we published the last version in November 2022, but there is an upgrade 2.07 already in the pipeline to be realized very soon. So okay, now it has finished. So it's starting the various different services. So the Docker Compose YAML file content, it's quite wide. I'm not going into the details right now because time is running, but actually we are just tracking when the Type 3 API service will be available. Now it's done something with Keycloak for the authentication that we are now skipping, but has to be booted as the others. So, okay. Yeah, I'm also waiting for the Type 3 API to be ready. Thank you. Okay, Postgre as a local database installation. Okay. Actually, if as a bit of troubleshooting, if this is not really working, you just need to try again because the Docker Compose will fix everything up like it happened before. There was a CRC download problem. Simply restart from scratch. So, my dear Type 3 API, please come up. Not yet. Okay. Okay. It's coming. It's coming. Okay. Starting. I told you beforehand it was super verbose. So it's doing something that I'm not going to check all the details. But a good point for you will come in a bit. The moment the Type 3 API actually is up, you will know because it will appear a very well-known line of code, which is the one that I have highlighted. So after that line of code, the server is ready. Whatever you get after is simply runtime logging. So just to close my presentation today, I will simply ask this well-known KNX page, and as you have seen, the page came with a payload back. So actually, I'm done for today. So thank you for the time you have dedicated to this session. So for further information, you know who and where to contact. So bye-bye.